Hey, so today we are talking about 5 things that no one tells you about when moving to Wichita, Kansas. So these are things I learned along my journey when I first moved here, and I know my other videos have talked about the pros and cons and things to do. Obviously, a lot of neighborhood videos, but today here's 5 things that nobody tells you. So let's get to it. Okay, to start off with the 5 things that nobody tells you about when moving to Wichita, Kansas. Wind. Wind. It is super windy here. That's why Wizard of Oz, Toto, and those guys flying all up in the tornado. Granted, we're not talking tornado winds. We're just talking the winds on the high windy days. I mean, it's pretty hard. It's frustrating. It's add that little stress to your life for sure. Because when you're leaving, let's say, grocery store, or like when I'm carrying my briefcase and trying to put it into the car, coming out from the office, I mean, you're having to use your foot, your hands, to hold the door so it doesn't get slammed into the car door next to you. Your hair is flying everywhere. Those with long hair, make sure you carry a hair tie at all times. I mean, you can't see in front of you because your hair is all flying. I'm usually always carrying something, it seems, but it is something that you got to get used to and deal with. Let me not even get you into skirts and dresses. I had a funny story once where my dress literally flew all the way up. Luckily, I had my little slip shorts on. But it flew. It was a gust. It was in between cars or something. Luckily, nobody was around. But I'm not telling you. I mean, you women, you have to wear like those straight skirts that aren't going to blow up, not the flowy ones. And if you do, just make sure you know what the wind level is that day. So, oh yeah, I was never an app looker, weather app. And but boy, when you live here, you're checking it every day to see what can I wear today. Can I wear the skirts? And of course, I have plenty of flowy skirts. And I've always thought, like, in the shopping stores, that do they not know we're in Kansas? We're not in, like, where I grew up, California. I mean, where the wind is fine, normal, not gusts blowing up your skirts and stuff like that. I'm like, can they just like sell certain kind of clothes here that deal with the wind? And so that's the stuff that goes through my mind. So yeah, it's kind of a pain. Like I said, my biggest issue is usually when you're just trying to hold a door and make sure it doesn't slam in the car door next to you, because if you are not, your foot's not holding it while you're putting whatever into your car, kids, whatnot, it's quite a pain. So next, number 2, alcohol. Okay, so when I moved here from California, now I will admit most of this has kind of changed for the most part, but you could not buy alcohol in the grocery stores. I was like, what? And I played softball at that time, and of course on Sundays, and so then you couldn't buy alcohol at all on Sundays, not even at the liquor store. So, you always had to plan accordingly for my softball days anyway, to have your alcohol, beer, softball, they all go together beforehand. But at least they did, as time went on, they did start allowing beer purchases to happen at noon on Sundays. So, but a recent story is kind of funny. I sunbathe a lot, love it, at the College Hill pool or at my friend's lake or other places. YMCA used to be. And so we would take at the lake anyways. We were drinking Trulies and taking our alcohol. And so, you get tired of the same thing. And so I was like, okay, I want to try those little beer seltzer. I think Bud Light had come out with some of those. And I noticed them in Dillon's now that they allow alcohol in Dillon's. And I was like, wanted to buy because they were just single ones. I wanted to try them to see the taste. So the one day, of course, that I actually am going through Dillon's and I pick up several of them, some guy walks behind me and is reading the sign that's right in front of me. No liquor sales on Easter Sunday. I was like, whatever, of course. I don't buy tons of alcohol, so when I do, the one time I was waiting to buy like these single taste testers. So I proceeded to put it all back because I obviously can't read the sign. So, mental note, you cannot buy alcohol at Dillon's on Easter Sunday. Get back to me in a few years, that might change too, like these other ones have. But I remember when Target, back when I was still playing softball, and I saw that they had liquor, I was like, oh! And so, I had, of course, to take a snap and post it on social media for my softball friends, because now, I used to shop at Target a lot before COVID. As part of my grocery shopping, and so Yeah, so now you can buy it at Target. You can buy alcohol at Dillon's, the grocery stores in Wichita. I'm just giving you the main ones. And Sundays at noon, but obviously I learned recently this year that you can't buy it on Easter. Yeah, and I will admit I was also surprised that I think it's still the same on Easter. Many times I've gone to Target and of course it's closed, and somehow I keep forgetting every year. But yeah, I guess they closed down certain stores. I'm sure Chick-fil-A is closed. Easter Sunday being in the Bible Belt, I'm sure in California they're still open. So mental note, Easter Sunday here in Wichita, Kansas, not everything is open. Okay, so that brings us to number 3. No direct flights. Okay. Hardly any, not a lot, and it's expensive. So the airport, traveling to and from Wichita, is expensive, and there's not a lot of direct flights. Yes, you'll have them to the hubs because obviously you need to get somewhere. So I think it's Denver, Houston are the main hubs. I think Chicago, and then Vegas, of course. A lot of people I know go, and then Destin, Florida. So I'm always thinking if I'm going to go to the beach, I'm going to Destin, Florida because it's a one, stop shop straight to Florida. And Orlando, I think that's a recent one. I know at some point there was Seattle, so now don't quote me on all these, I don't travel a lot, but all my point is that what I love about the airport is, and we do have a newer one, so it's really pretty now, glass, is that it's easier to get in and out, but that comes at a price because there's not a lot of, people coming here. You're always having to go to a hub or a layover somewhere to travel. Now, number 4, this is kind of the joke, and I'll see this on different Facebook groups when people say, hey, talk about Wichita, but don't say, in so many words. And so Kellogg Construction, the joke is that Kellogg is always under construction. Now, Kellogg, for those of you out of town, it's the main freeway going east to west. And it's true, it's always under construction, but since I've been here in 2003, a lot has gotten finished. Now to Goddard, you can kind of fly over there. You can even go past the mall now and toward Andover. Not quite to Andover. They have finished this section. The new Costco was put in several years ago. And that Webb on the east side, Webb and Kellogg intersection, I just noticed is finally finished. I was doing some showings over there, and finally, yay! Because before, when I was doing showings, you'd get, to head down to the low construction lanes to the right, and so, but that looks like it has been finished. So Costco on the east side and the Goddard side. So a lot's been, gone through. Of course, it will still be under construction. So that's just one thing to know is Kellogg is always under construction. It's quite the joke around here. So, and then number 5, Squinty Eyes. I did not hear that. I think that's what they called it. That phrase for years and years and years after I was dealing with it. So I had a previous job where I was going from the west side of town to the east. Well, if you're doing that, and of course, you're going straight into the sun during both rush hours. I mean, you're almost glad to get off work at 5 during the winter because it was dark kind of at that point. You're not, looking straight into the sun. I mean, it's dangerous. I mean, you have your little visor you're putting up and down, and to kind of see like, can I put it down enough so it's not squinty, and then so you can see the red light or the green light if it's turning. But man, it is right in your eyes. So just mental note if you do buy a house on the west side and you do have to travel east, you're going to be squinting a lot. Unless you can, drive during different hours, not during the rush hour. But so that was easy. That was interesting. I mean, when coming from San Diego, I think maybe the train, the tall buildings, lots of hills. Probably just I wasn't mostly going maybe east to west. I mean, there's a lot of north-south in San Diego, but yeah, I never had to deal with the direct into the sun. But it's brutal. So that is number 5. So just to recap, the 5 things that people do not tell you about, it's the wind, it's the alcohol, although the alcohol is mostly coming around just on Easter Sunday. No direct flights, or few direct flights. There's always construction on Kellogg, and you'll have squinty eyes if you're going from the west side to the east side. So there you have it. Those are 5 things people do not tell you when you're looking to move to Wichita. So I hope that gives you a lot more information about Wichita. Give me a shout out. Put any questions in the comment section below. I just like to hear from you. Just write down what's up, how you doing, and click the like button if you enjoyed this video, and subscribe if you want to hear more tips and information about Wichita, more things to do, more events. Of course, I do the continuous neighborhood videos always, and the pretty pretty houses. So thank you for watching, and until next video, have a great day.